We really boxing. Who wanted the baddest? Let's see. Oh, we boxing. Yeah, we boxing. I need that belt like it ain't no other option. So we punching and weaving and blocking. Defeat ain't an option. Let them know. Shoot a video. Put it on BVO. Let them know. Every time I punch, it's a heavy blow. BVO. Bound to hit like bricks cause it was set in stone. Let them know. I ain't getting body, but I'ma hit this flow. Yeah, way more than a show. This is BVO.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy BVO Boxing, aka the original man, sent by God himself. And I got my brother in the house, man. I got my brother Big Dre in the house. So, how you feeling, Dre?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
Hey, man.
Trying to stay on a positive tip, you know.
Hey, I'm living on that positive tip right now, so I know what you mean. But shout out, man, to everybody as they're coming in. We're getting ready to start the show. What's going on, Puerto Rican Free in the house? How you feeling, man?
I'm good. What's going on?
What's going on, Free?
What's going on, man?
But we got a big show. I know a lot of y'all seen the title, man. What can we do to make boxing great? First, before we get started, I want to send a big shout out to Devin the American Dream Haney. I want to send a big shout out to Teofimo to take over Lopez. I want to send a shout out to Emiliano Vargas. I want to send a shout out to Brandon Figueroa. These are all guys who have single-handedly helped push the sport together. Shout out to Canelo Alvarez. But you know what? The guys I named are really doing what we talk about the same way Muhammad Ali did it, the same way Sugar Ray Leonard did it. These guys are doing a great job of pushing our sport forward. Shoot the Melon Queen. But what you guys think about Brandon Figueroa getting an opportunity to fight Scooter after he was robbed unceremoniously last time? What you guys think about that?
I mean, it's a great opportunity for Brandon Figueroa. I don't think he was robbed. I think it was a close fight. I think Cool Boy did enough to win the fight. He asked Brandon Figueroa if you want to run him back, we can run him back. Brandon Figueroa said, I'm going to 126. So Cool Boy decided to stay down at 22. He took a fight with Monster anyway. Then he said he's going to move up. He took a fight earlier this year. Got a nice victory in that fight. He was tested early in that fight because I believe he got dropped like the second or third round. He got dropped, and he was tested in that fight, and he was able to pull out another victory. And he said, you know what? Let me go ahead and run it back with Brandon Figueroa, see if he want to get in the ring again. And these boys are doing it, so I mean, it should be another action-packed fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, they've done it once. And, you know, now they decide they want to do it again. And I don't have a problem with that. I don't think there was a robbery. I think like Free said, it was a close fight. At the end of the day, you know, Cool Boy got his hand raised. It's when a fight goes to the judge's card, all you can say is, I hope they saw the same fight I saw. Yes. Because you got three judges from three different vantage points around the ring. And depending upon where they are, what they can see, you know, and the way the fighters move, you know, that's the way you get, you know, judging that comes a little bit sideways.
For sure. Shout out to my man Billy. Definitely shout out to my man Straight Fighter. Always showing love, man. Hey, but I agree with what you guys said. The one thing I will say, it probably was one of the biggest robberies in boxing history to see Brandon Figueroa have it stolen from him. It was one of those things where you almost could say it was such a travesty, man, that I wanted everybody banned for life on that judge that fight, because Scooter got dogged. Brandon brought the fight to him. Brandon fought him like a man, middle of the ring. He was the aggressor. And for them to steal it from him like that, it was just disgusting, man. It's probably one of the most disgusting displays I've ever seen. I don't know. I really can't even understand why Brandon Figueroa would go back into a fight where they stole it from him. I mean, you could say it was a close fight, but man, Brandon really whooped on that dude. Man, it was a rivalry, man. And I feel like this. BVO tries to be fair, man. So it was a disgusting decision, man. Shigota should be ashamed of himself for stealing that fight from Brandon, because Brandon really whooped on him. But moving on, I'm gonna ask you guys about this. A lot of people have been talking about Dimitri Bivol versus the great Arthur Beterbiev, and the great Bob Arum just said we probably won't see that fight to sometime next year. What you guys think about seeing that fight next year?
I think that's good. I mean, both those guys was in a tough fight. Both those guys took some big blows, because Bivol hit Arthur with some big shots, and Arthur hit Bivol with some big shots. So I mean, they probably going to need some time. They can't get right back in the ring. I mean, we're already in October. It's about to be November in a couple of weeks. So I don't see them getting right back in the ring right now. They gotta take some time, let their body heal up, and then do it again. But sometime in next year, I mean, depends on how long they're gonna wait till next year. I hope if they do make it in the summer or the later part of next year, hopefully both of those guys get a fight in so they won't be rusty. But I don't mind seeing it again, because I said it. That was one of the fights. If we say a fight have to be a rematch, that's one of the fights that I say definitely deserves to be a rematch, because it was a good fight. It was close. It came down to the last couple of rounds, and Arthur pulled it out.
Yeah.
It was definitely a close fight. I thought let me say this. I went into the fight expecting more, but I was happy with the result that we got. I was definitely happy with the action that we got, because we got some serious action, and they were throwing punches with bad intentions. And again, when you leave it in the judge's hands, it's a question of what they saw, and everybody doesn't see the same thing. It was a good fight. Yes, I would like to see the rematch, and I would hope it comes out, a great fight, just the way this one did, possibly with less controversy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say both you brothers on this one made some great points. When it come down to it, it was a close fight. I honestly could have lived with a draw, no matter what. Puerto Rican Free said it best. Bivol kind of dominated the early part of the fight, but Arthur really came on strong in the 10th, 11th, or 12th round. So I mean, either way it go, that's a 50-50 fight. And I understand why that can't happen right after, because that probably took a lot out of both of them. But I'll ask you guys this, and we seen, the pictures. One of the things I ask you guys is, how did you think Dimitri Bivol's mental was going into that fight?
I think he had a game plan to go in there and get his stuff early, so that he didn't have to depend on it late, because he knew that, Beterbiev he's a big, strong fighter. He's going to bring it to him, and if he can take some of the wind out of his sails early, that'll make it better for him late. And I think that was his game plan. I think mentally he was ready for the fight, and he came in there and tried to execute the game plan he had as best he could.
What I'm talking about, Dre, is a little bit deeper. I'll start off with salute to my man Tommy in the house, man. My favorite Cuban's in the house, Tommy, man. But I'm gonna ask you this, Free. What did you think about Dimitri Bivol's ex-wife purposely rooting against him and having his children say we were Arthur? What do you think about that?
I mean, that comes with the territory. When you have a bad breakup, you're gonna have your former significant other root against you when it's a bad breakup. You're gonna have them rooting against you. You're gonna have them talking about you badly and stuff like that. When it comes to the fight, I don't know if it played a part in his mental. I would say at some point it probably did during camp. I'm not sure in the actual fight if it did, because I think he's a very determined individual. He knows what he wants when he get in that ring, and he put on a heck of a poker face if it did bother him, because he went in there with a game plan. It's just I think he was more so worried about the power of Arthur than anything else. But like I said, it could have very well have played a part in his mental, being though that it had just happened recently. So it could have very well played a part, especially if she was sitting close to the ring and he could hear her yelling, because you know what your significant other or former significant other voice sounds like. You know what they sound like. So if he could hear her, then it very well could have played a part. But I don't know. I'm not in his head. I can't say that it did or it didn't. But I would think at some point that it probably did play a part in it, if not in the ring, definitely during training camp.
Well, let me add this to you, Free. When you say that, now, you know, we all have children on the panel. What do you think about her using his children as almost as pawns in her game to get back at him?
That's disgusting. I mean, anytime you put a kid in the middle of the mother and father situation and you use them as a pawn, it's disgusting, because at the end of the day, once the kid gets older, and they find out the truth about what's going on, you can cause that kid to resent you by doing that, because a kid is innocent. The one thing that a kid always do, they love their mother and father, regardless of what happened between them two. A kid is always going to love their mother and father unless they did something to them personally. But a kid always have a love for their mother and father, regardless of what their situation they're going through. So when you put a kid in the middle of y'all mess that y'all got going on, that's always a bad situation, because now you making the kid have to decide whether he's going to choose his mother or he's going to choose his father. And you never want to put that on a child, because a child, like I said before, a child didn't ask to be here. A child is just an innocent person that's coming up, and your job is to raise that child in the best way that you know how, and to use them in your games is trifling.
So salute to my man. We got my brother Cuban Tommy in the house, man. Hey Tommy, I want to ask you this, man. Do you think that Arthur was able to, and I like what Free said, because Free gave a really good answer to that, but I want to get your opinion on it. The fact that Arthur had what we would call a poker face, there's no way he laid down with this woman for many, many years and didn't feel the hurt of that kind of betrayal. I'm just wondering, what do you think something like that betrayal could do to a man? Tommy, what you think?
I think it can make you do bitter. I think it can make you bitter. At the same time, depending on the individual, you got people who know how to really use that to become focused, and I think that's what BVO did, especially because she was going on to the point where it looked kind of clownish on her behalf, to the point she was going screaming out Arthur, Arthur for the world to see. So I think at that point it kind of relieves Beevor, like she making a clown of herself, you know what I mean, and really helped him keep his focus, because he looked focused. He went in there with a game plan. He was landing some good shots. You know, he was getting out of there. He was moving around. He fought really well. He didn't fight like a man who was preoccupied. To me, he didn't.
And I want to bring you in on this, Dre. I want to ask you this. Now, both our brothers really said some good, but let me ask you this, Dre. We're talking about a woman that you've been with for years, rooting against you with your children, and not only that, is it just me? It seemed like he didn't care that he lost.
Well, like Free said, the kids didn't ask to be here, and to drag them and put them in the middle of all your drama, not just for the couple to see, just for them to see, but this happened on a world stage. This happened at press conferences and and TV shows, and she just kind of dragged it all out into the open. And Um, I think Dimitri um, did a very good job of keeping his cool
Mm-hmm.
and putting that to the side so that he could focus on what he had to do. Um, I'm not going to say that he didn't go home and take it out on the heavy bag. Um, hey, you got a heavy bag there, and he
Yeah.
probably went out. He probably went out and spent a few grand, had that bag, all decorated up with her face on both sides, and he just worked at it. And it's a great way to relieve stress. So
You cold blooded, Drake.
hey, man, it's one of the avenues of stress relief. I mean, you said that, talked about his mental
Mm-hmm.
going into the fight, and that's one way um, to focus your anger, to keep um, your mental at on an even keel, so that when you are ready to do your job, because if you aren't focused in the ring,
Mm-hmm.
all it takes is a split second of not being focused, and it's lights out. Especially when you in the ring with somebody with the likes of Artur Beterbiev,
Mm-hmm.
who's got that one punch knockout power. Bibble said, he's hitting me on my gloves. My gloves are hitting me in the face, and that shit hurt. That's kind of, you want to get punched in your gloves, and when your gloves hit you in the face, it hurts. You're prepared. You got your guard up. You know that you're about to get hit in the glove. You are protecting your face, and you still the power of his punch still you feel it because you got punched in the face with your own hand.
Mm.
It's again, you have to be clear. The focus needs to be on point, because if the focus isn't on point, it doesn't take much with a power puncher like Beterbiev to put you out of there.
That's a fact. Salute to my man Ace and pulling up, man. Shut the door when you come in, my guy. But I gotta ask you this, Free, because I feel like Free, and I definitely want to time on this. I'm gonna ask you this, Free, because one thing about my brother Free, man, the brother's tough as nails. I'm gonna ask you, Free. Did you notice that Bibble was like a doggone robot that whole press conference and fight? Is that really him, or what happened? Salute to my man Ace. Is that really him? I don't know, man. He just didn't look like himself. I feel like he lost because he wasn't himself. And I'm just saying, do you think that was like a coping mechanism we seen? Because he was talking like Drago. I lost. And he had no excuses. I mean, I've never seen him talk like that. That's why I was wondering, was it worse than what we thought?
No, I think that's just him, because the thing about that Russian culture, they really don't show their emotions like that. They don't really show emotions like that. So I think that's just him because of his upbringing. Because even when you look at Arthur, I mean, he cracked a little smile when people said that they believe that Bibble won. He cracked a little smile, but he has that same ghost face too. Whenever he's talking, they don't really show emotions like that. So I just think that's their culture. They don't show emotion. They brought up real hard.
Yeah, I can see that. And going to Utah, man, I'm just like, now I would say you grew up in gladiator school, man. So growing up in gladiator school, I'm just wondering, like, is it normal to be emotionless like this? I mean, I get what Free was saying, but I never seen Art. He wasn't like that when he fought Canelo. I mean, he was like a stone in there, dog. I'm just wondering, did he lose because of that?
Nah, I don't think he lost because of that. I think he lost because Better BF was slightly better. You know what I mean? I think it's exactly what BVO said. And his character, man, he's a plain dude. Everything you see is what he is. He don't do a whole lot of freestyling, man. It's not a whole lot, he ain't kidding you a whole lot, man. Until he sat down and had that interview with Marcos Villegas. You know, that's where he articulated everything. He spoke about the fight. He spoke about the power, the combination power, what he could have did more of. No, I don't think he lost because of that at all, man. I think that he just a calm, collected dude. A lot of them Russian fighters like that. And them dudes are stone cold, man. It's like a day at the office for them.
So let me, and I want to get into this subject. It's a tough subject because I know we got time for these guys, and I've actually been blessed to talk to this brother a few times. But what do you guys think about Gary Russell hating on Lamont Roach Jr.? You guys think about that?
I'll say, man, I wasn't liking it, man. I wasn't liking it. I understand you over there trying to get a fight for yourself, but he coming off bitter now. He coming off bitter that Lamont Roach is the one getting that bag and not him. Because I know he been screaming Tank name, he been screaming Bud name, he been screaming a whole lot of people name, and I don't know what's going on in his business world why he's not getting no fights, but now he coming off bitter the way he's shooting down Roach. And then being a dude out of DC too, you know what I mean, coming out the same area, I would have thought that he would have showed Roach more respect, more support. So I was actually kind of disappointed in Gary, man. He just came off real bitter sounding.
I think it was a little bit childish, because Lamont got the fight, yeah. But the last time you fought, you were at 126. That's 2 weight classes down. The last time you fought was over 2 years ago. The last time you fought, you came out the ring injured. All of those things, and you haven't seemed to be active in the boxing community. Yes, you are helping to train your brothers and a few others in that gym, but you didn't seem to be active or searching for a fight in the interim. But as soon as Lamont Roach's name is called, now you got something to say. You said it should have been me. Well, if you'd have been active and you'd have been at 130, maybe it could have been you. But the last time you fought, you were 2 weight classes down. And you think they clown and Tank for bringing up Lamont Roach, who has more fights at 135, or should I say he has more fights above 130 pounds than Tank does. Okay?
That's a fact.
He's not a little tiny dude. He wasn't fighting at 126. He's got a belt. And so he got a belt. He defended his belt. And he looked good doing it. I got nothing but love for the man. And being a DC native, I love both of them. When Lamont got his title, every channel I went on, I made sure I shouted him out.
You did.
Everybody.
You did.
Show. Not everybody's show. I made sure that, hey, I want to shout out to Lamont Roach. You
did do that.
Like super featherweight champion. Because it's.
Ain't y'all from the same neighborhood?
We're not far from each other.
Y'all about what? Probably like less than a mile.
No, it's a little more than a mile. It's about 4 miles. He actually lives just outside of the Beltway in Upper Marlboro currently. So I can get to his house in like 12 minutes.
Hey, tell him, Free. That's right around the corner, baby.
It's a bike ride, man.
but what you think, Free? I know you close to the Russells as well, so I want your opinion on it, man.
Well, I didn't hear the actual question.
The question was, why was Gary Russell so quick to go after Lamont Roach, who's done nothing but work hard? Why was he down on Lamont Roach?
I don't think Gary went after Lamont Roach. I think it was more so going after Tank Davis, although Lamont Roach's name was mentioned, I think it was more so about Tank Davis. I think what he was saying was Lamont Roach wasn't a worthy opponent for Tank Davis because of the fact that Lamont Roach is at 30 and Lamont Roach hasn't really done anything in the sport of boxing. So I think it was more so going after Tank than it was Lamont Roach. Now he also came back after Lamont Roach did his little Instagram, and he said Lamont Roach felt like I was disrespecting him. He said I wasn't disrespecting him. I was just speaking the truth, which is my opinion. And he said if Lamont Roach felt like I disrespected him after you finish with Tank, you can fight me next at 130. We can get in the ring next if you felt like I disrespected. So, I mean, if Lamont Roach really felt like he got disrespected, the man offered you a fight at 130. Now, either you take it or you don't. Because we all know from DC, you speaking like that, if a man offer you up, if you really about that business, then you'll hop in that ring with him. So, I mean, we'll see what happens.
And speaking on that, I don't think I think Gary has been blackballed, but Gary really just, he had a father get sick, a bunch of brothers. He didn't get to do a lot that he wanted to do because it was just life got in his way. But I'm going to just say this. Was it out of pocket for Gary to call Abdul Wahid a B? Anyone you guys can start on that one. Because I thought that was crazy for him to call Abdul a B like that. That don't make no sense. What do you guys think about that?
You said you said that again. I couldn't hear you. You kind of muffled. What'd you say again?
No, can you hear me now? Am I a little clear?
Yes, I thought it was out of pocket. Tank didn't go out and say, "Ooh, I want to fight Lamont Roach next." Tank went to try to get the Loma fight. They were in negotiations for the Loma fight.
Yeah.
Which went sideways. Shakur was, "Ooh, fight me, ooh, fight me, ooh, fight me, ooh, fight me," until the day that the Loma fight fell apart, and then it was radio silence.
Yeah.
He was a free agent. He could have said, "Listen, I'll sign to the PDC for one fight. I'll come over and sign to GTD Promotions for one fight. Let's get it on. Let's make it happen." But he didn't. He said, "Eddie, let's dance."
Well, all Heyman, let me say this, all Heyman cannot stand Jay Prince. So we got to keep that in mind too. We all know Jay-Z, Jay Prince, all Heyman has done everything he can to ruin those guys. He actually got Jay-Z out of boxing. He can stand Little J or Jay Prince. We got to keep that caveat out there as well.
Well, I understand what you're saying. Excuse me. But if my fighter and your fighter want to get it on and we beefing, hey, let them do it. We just stand back and make money. Because no matter how it goes, we going to get paid. They can do whatever they want to do, but we going to get paid. Because as a manager, you're going to get your cut regardless. And you get your cut before the fighter gets paid. So you're going to make the money. Let it happen. It's a one-fight deal. Let it happen. And I think if they really wanted it to happen, it would have happened. There was no Bob Arum standing in the way.
I think you underestimate all not liking Little J, man. I think you underestimating that, bro. I think you underestimating that.
I'm not underestimating. But they both like money. And if the fighters want to get it on, I think the fighters should get it on. I think they should have been able to come together, get some paperwork set up, get the offer sheets done, and get some signatures on
it. Hey, you know what, Dre? I can't be mad at that. But let me ask you.
You can't get mad at that because listen, everybody say that Shakur and Tank is going to be one of the 5 biggest fights in boxing.
No,
am I correct?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No one
But
says that.
that's what a lot of people are saying.
I've never heard
Whether you
that in my life.
believe it or not, that's what a lot of people are saying.
I've never heard that in my life. Have you guys ever heard that?
I think
Sure did.
I didn't hear that it's top 5 in the sport of boxing. I think it's a good fight. I think a lot of fans want to see it, but I don't think it's top 5 in the sport of boxing right now. I don't think it's top 5.
I think it lost steam, but I knew they was speaking about it as if this could be possibly, amongst the biggest fights in boxing. So I have heard that.
Again, I'm just repeating what I've heard. Do I think it's one of the top 5? Maybe not one of the top 5, but definitely one of the top 10 fights in boxing. It's a fight that a lot of people want to see. It's a fight that a lot of people want to make happen. And I think it'll do some awesome pay-per-view numbers. Now, it lost some steam when Shakur went out there and threw up that dud with Edwin De Los Santos. Granted, his hand was hurt, and he did what he did and still won the fight. And he came back with his next fight with a slightly improved version. But again, he hurt his hands. Right now, I think that if they'd have tried to make the fight, I think it would have been good. Of course, we might still be in the same position because Shakur is, got his hands wrapped up in the ice now because, he had to have surgery on both hands. And we might still be in this same predicament. We're fighting Lamont Roach. But so
I don't know what happened to my man Big Dre, but salute to my man Mike Garner.
We didn't have Rayo. Zepeda said he wasn't fighting this year. I mean, who's left? There wasn't a whole lot of people left at 135. You couldn't get Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn Davis got to fight. The available opponents were growing thin. Yeah, he could have went up to try to go up to 140, but Devin was, for all intents and purposes, unavailable. Tio is suing Bob Arum, so he is, for all intents and purposes, unavailable. Who's he going to fight? I mean, all of the big names that we would expect him to fight are currently somewhat unavailable. I think he did what he did to stay busy. You got a choice. We can wait till February and see what happened, or we can take this fight now. Let's make some money. Let's make some money.
I don't know. I don't know if he's fight. I don't know if that fight is going to be available in February anyway. Because from what Shakur said, he's fighting Zepeda when he comes back. So I mean, I have no problem with Tank fighting him. I just think Tank is going to get criticized regardless of who he fight. If it ain't the fighters that the people want to see him fight, regardless of who it is, it could be a heck of a fighter. If he fights somebody like Matias, I think he'll get clowned. They're like, oh, he only fight Matias because he saw Matias get beat. He'll get clowned for that fight. If he fight Keyshawn Davis, they're gonna say, well, he's only fighting Keyshawn Davis because he ain't got that many fights. He's still somewhat of a prospect. So it doesn't matter who he fights. If they're not the fighters that he wants them to fight, I think he's going to get clowned regardless.
Well, unless he went up to fight Devin or went up to fight T.O.
No, that's what I said. If he was fight one of them, it would be good. If it's not somebody that they want him to fight, he's going to get clowned regardless of who he fights.
But other than those two names, Zepeda was number one on everybody's list. But Zepeda says, hey, I went through a long training camp for my last fight, and
let me say this because I think we're missing something, and I don't want us to be protecting Abdul Wahid because we know
protecting anybody.
We're
just going through the motions.
I feel like Abdul Wahid is one of the most protected fighters in boxing history. We want him to be like, my guy, some call him Black Jesus, man. Devin, Young Dev, former undisputed champion. All we want people to be like former unified two-time lineal champion. Teofimo Lopez. They fight whoever. They don't care who it is. But let me ask you guys this. Speaking on that,
I'm sorry,
you got
BVO. I had to stand up on the chair because it was getting a little deep in here.
Hey, you cold-blooded, Jay. You only said that because I'm black. But let me ask you.
I only say that because you're a brother and I love you.
Oh, you go talking like BVO. But let me ask you this, Tommy. Then I want to get to the grumpy OG because I got my big brother. Let me ask you guys this. Well, is it true or is it just me, Tommy? But Abdul Wahid is run out of time. Is he run out of time?
I'm not gonna say he's running out of time, but I think time is definitely of the essence at this point. But again, it's not his fault, man. For the same point D3 and Big Dre have made so clearly. All the available fights, everyone has an excuse when it comes to Tank. Same thing for Shakur. He was running down the line. People they were straight denying him. That's why I think them dudes they gotta make that fight happen sooner than later, man. After Shakur washes Zepeda, they gotta make that fight happen, man. Because yeah, it kind of is running out of time, man. It really is. You know what I mean? It's running out of time for to have those legacy defining fights. I don't think he's run. I think he's at that point where it's got to start happening. At least if you got 6 more fights, let's see 2 really big over the top fights. One of them got to be Shakur Stevenson. It might have lost a little bit of steam, but if Shakur could really wash the pedal again, it's going to build it back up, and I want to see it, man.
Yeah.
But I think the Peter is fighting Terrell Farmer.
Yeah, no, he is. He is. We talking about next year.
Right.
We talking about next year. That's the fight that Shakur is making when he comes back. He's fighting Zepeda when he comes back, according to what Shakur said.
Zepeda about to lose.
I don't know about all that right now.
I don't know.
I'm with my Philly boy. I know y'all don't go with the brother. I'm going with my brother TC from Philly, man.
Yeah,
Philly.
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to fight him or not. I mean, that I only could go by what he said. He said that's the fight that he wants next when he comes back. Is that a good fight? Yeah, it's a good fight. Is that the fight Shakur should take when he comes back? No, by no means should he take that fight when he comes back. But I'm not going to stop him because you had surgery on your hands. You might end up be developing the same thing that Floyd Mayweather had. I mean, with brittle hands. Because this is what the third situation where you had a problem with your hand. So you going in there with arguably the best pressure fighter at 135. And this man throws roughly 100 punches per round. And he hits hard. I don't think that's a fight that Shakur should take coming right back after having hand surgery. But if he want to get in there, I pay to see it. I mean, well, it's going to be free anyway. But I watch it, and I don't think Shakur might win, but I don't think he's going to watch Zepeda by no means. I think he washes him. He might win, but I don't think he's going to watch him.
For every reason you said, I think he should get in there as soon as possible because having hands that he only got so many fights left. He might only have a few fights left in him. If you remember Jeff Fennick at the height of his career disappeared, brittle hands. Floyd Mayweather, he somehow pulled it off with that great defense. Everybody can't do that, you know what I mean? And I think this is an example where he got to get in there now while his hands are still working. You know what I mean? If you're gonna break them, you're gonna get surgeries. You might as well do it for the biggest fights possible, and not risk hurting them and getting these major horrendous injuries and more surgeries on half-ass competition. That's really not gonna get you to the bag because at the end of the day, they do want to get to this bag. And Zepeda got a foul. There's gonna be a lot of eyes on that fight. Although Shakur shit the bed a couple of times when he was on that big stage. He's putting himself back on that stage if he can secure a fight with Zepeda. I want to see it, man.
Yeah, let me hear from you, Crush, on this. Go ahead, Crush.
Well, my question about Shakur banking on fighting Zepeda coming, is coming back off his hand injury. Now, here's the thing. So he's saying he's going to fight Zepeda no matter if Zepeda win or lose against Tevin Farmer. That's my question. And my more so question is more so towards if Zepeda loses to Tevin Farmer, he's still got his eyes set on William Zepeda. If that's the case, I got a problem with that because he's been animated a few times, and I don't know if you guys ever picked up on it, but he's big with wanting to fight guys coming off of losses. He jumped at Cambosis after he lost to Devin. Then the whole thing with Lomachenko, he's always good for that, and that's one thing I discredit him about. Now, far as the fight with him and Tank, when it comes to these so-called big fights that Tank needs, well, they need them also because they ain't got no big fights. Y'all got to remember, that's the bigger fight for both opponents, but you always just speak in one manner. So that's important for him. The Devin fight, that's not happening. People get over that. That fight is not happening. Okay, board too big, innocent. Get over that. That fight is not going to happen. But Shakur and Tank could definitely happen. Now, for how much time Tank got, because he's 29, I don't see him slowing down. So he still got time. But when you think about overall how much time people have left in boxing, they really don't have too much time. Because when you look at that whole entire group, I mean, how many big fights do they all really got left? You understand what I'm saying? Because most likely, if right now we know that Tank is the biggest fight for them, and each other, because they the fights we want to see. Tank, Shakur, and Dev. So we just in Tio, we use these 4 fights. Now, let's say they all fight. Tank fights all these dudes. There's no way you're going to tell me that those other guys is going to get fights bigger than Tank Davis after he gets in the ring with him. So really, most of them really don't have much left to do, period. Their time is almost over. And I've been speaking on that in so many different ways. So it's an up and coming breed, and boxing and time is moving fast, and you're not even paying attention to it because their time is at the expiration part of the hourglass, but we haven't really paid attention to it because all the nonsense that's been going on in the sport of boxing, and we keep arguing and going back and forth about when a fight is going to happen. Most of the time, the cats don't get in the ring, so we both look stupid. No matter which side you want or who fault it is, when they both don't get in the ring, nobody can really point the finger because you got to point it at the both of them, not just one. But we wasted so much time on that we not even paying attention, and we acting like all these guys got more time left than Tank. Those dudes got about the same amount of time. Just because he's just a couple years older doesn't mean that they have more time to spare. Because when you look at their careers, we don't know how far they're gonna go up and weight. And most of them don't even want to go up far in weight. They're not even fighting in the weight classes that they should be in at the time. That's just facts because they keep draining themselves to stay down in a lower weight class for whatever reason. But none of these guys got much time left. What other big fights can Tio have besides a damn Tank fight? I will wait. Devin Haney, I will wait. Who? Boots. Man, by the time Tio get the 147 BVO and save your wet dream on that, my brother, respectfully, that fight ain't happening. But let's say by the time Tio get the 147, Boots Ennis is not going to be at 147 by the time Tio gets there, if he goes there, bro. So you can just throw that with everything else. I just want y'all to understand.
Anyway, Noso said that he's willing to make the fight with Boots and Tio once they get done with litigation. He just said it on Spanish TV. He's willing to make the fight with Teo versus Boots because Teo wants to fight Magomedov next, and they don't want him to do that next. He's trying to fight Magomedov next. Hold on 1 second. Let me tell you this real quick. That was on Spanish TV. Eddie Reynoso is now acting as Teo's manager. So he's trying to get through this litigation because they want the big fights. So Canelo said he will put the money up for Boots. He said he'll put the money up for Magomedov. So if Canelo, who is probably one of the richest dudes in boxing, say he'll put the money up, I gotta believe him, right? Tell me if I'm wrong. Go ahead.
No, what I was going to say, if you listen to what Bozy said after this fight that he has with Kern, he's going to try to unify. If he can't unify, he's going to 54. So I don't know if he's going to entertain the Teo fight, because he said he's going to try to unify after this current fight because that's his mandatory. He's gonna honor his mandatory, and then he's going to try to unify with one of the other champions. If he can't get a unification, then he's going to 54.
And see,
Teo's going to 54 though too with Magomedov. That's the fight that he was told to take. To get Bud said, if you give me Magomedov, you can have a fight like Austin Charles Floyd. Go ahead.
So you say, my question to you, BVO, you said that your boy BVO is going to jump from 140 up to 154, yes or no? That's what it sounds like you saying to me. Because
this is what Eddie Reynoso said.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Eddie Reynoso is full of cat.
When have you ever known him a lot? He barely talks.
But listen, my opinion is my opinion. All right. But that's all cat. All right.
Okay,
and the reason why
your opinion. I got you.
Yeah. So the reason why it's cap in my opinion, bro, is because this dude's supposed to be at 140 pounds, and everywhere he's talking about doing something, it's not in the weight class that he's in. I constantly got to keep repeating myself about this. So how can you possibly be clear on what the hell this guy's doing besides trying to get a check? This is what's wrong with boxing right now. These dudes, this is why their careers is almost at an end, because they not completing anything. They just going for big fights and big moments. They're opportunists. But this was the guy that
he's a prize fighter. Go ahead, my bad.
Listen, he ain't no prize fighter. He's searching for a prize. He's not a prize fighter because he haven't got a prize yet. So he's not a prize fighter. He's trying to be a prize fighter because he haven't got the bank yet, bro. This is just I'm being all honest. I don't want nobody to feel like I'm hating on a fighter, but I'm going to tell the truth about whoever. And that's just what it is with no anger towards them. But y'all gonna get to work. Y'all gonna understand the truth, and I'm gonna make you stand down on what you representing. Because if you bring it, if you talking that nonsense out your mouth, then you're gonna represent what they representing. I'm gonna hold you accountable for it because you already put yourself in that situation. So it's no hate towards your fighter, but I'm not capping for nobody. This is what I do. This is why I'm considered a grumpy OG, and I remain the grumpiest man talking this sport until I perish. And that's just what it is. So with this dude and with these guys, nobody's been totally complete. So we can't keep talking about greatness and all that because the damn moment fight and some stuff that came with accolades. This is what's wrong right now. And surprisingly, is a lot of diehards that's starting to act like damn casuals. Because the casuals the only ones that's supposed to have this mindset. But y'all so get caught up in about who you really think is the best. The only way you're going to know if they ever get in the ring, and most likely some of these fights we talk about ain't going to happen. They falling apart just like Hollywood is falling apart right now, and y'all still trying to deny that. So none of your favorite fighters got so much left that you think that they do, because if you ain't no star, you ain't got much left. And none of these guys are stars. I'm just being honest. None of these guys are stars. Oh yeah, people talking about it, but are they big bank, this, that, and the other? No, they still struggling trying to get that. And in order for them to get that, y'all saying that the guy that can make that happen for him, this guy got to go to make it happen for them. I don't understand.
Same way Muhammad had to do it. Same way Muhammad
We
had
not
to do
talking
it.
about Muhammad, bro. We not
Same
talking
way
about
Sugar Ray
Muhammad.
Leonard had to do
This
it.
is
You got to do it.
this is a different time, BBO. And whenever we talk boxing, we not going to be comparing these guys to those guys. I don't do it. So when we talk boxing, we going to keep these dudes with these dudes because they don't go in no sentence with the ones before them, respectfully. Because they don't move like it at all, none of them. The whole entire shebang, man, the whole barrel. As a whole, they don't move like the other eras of boxing. So I don't like to include them in conversations in comparison to none of them. Because they don't move like that and they're not built like them. Period.
Give me
That's out of
some,
respect.
Tommy. Give me some, Tommy, on this. Go ahead, Tommy.
Go ahead, Tommy.
Come again? No, I didn't say nothing. I was just listening.
I want your opinion on this stuff because we hearing Cruz give a lot of cap in my opinion, but that's his opinion. But what you think about this?
I think Teal's straight clout chasing again, man. Teal's straight clout chasing again, man. He just because this is consistent. He knows it's consistent. Yeah, he clout chasing. I can't even put any more into it. He talking shit, man. That's all he's doing. He's trying to keep his name relevant.
So him saying he want to fight Madrimov because that's what
he capping.
I mean, that's what Crawford told him to do. We seen Teal.
That was straight cap. That was straight cap. My bad.
I agree with Tommy, because T.O. went out there and he took that picture of him weighing 163 pounds, oh yeah, he ready to move up, he ready to take on Madrimov. He ain't had no power at 40. He fought Claggett and did not hurt the man. He didn't have power. Madrimov would take him apart. He hit too hard. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. I'm gonna stand on that square because that's what I think.
Bro, you got a lot of good background, bro. Go ahead and freak it in on this one, freak.
T.O. is he didn't have enough power at 40. He did not prove that in his last fight. He did not prove that in his fight before that. Power was not his game. And he gets in the room with somebody like Madrimov. Madrimov is gonna hurt him.
And they said the same thing about Roberto Duran when he went against Sugar Ray Leonard and he washed
No. Don't go there. Don't go there. See, because Roberto Duran was known as what? The hands of stone. That man had power.
He got his head kicked too. He used to get his head kicked too.
Yeah, he got his head kicked because he was a hothead. He was a hothead. He liked to drink rum and drink beer and party. And I can
drink rum and party.
I can say this from personal experience because I was in Panama and went to the man's house with a friend of mine who was Panamanian, and we drank beer, we drank rum, and we partied. Okay, so he was a cool dude, but it's he was known as the hands of stone, and when he hit you, he hit you. He definitely did. When he hit you, he hit you. He had good power in those hands.
So you telling me Devin, the American Dream, he can't compare to Roberto Duran, neither can Teofimo Lopez. Is that what you're telling me?
No.
Devin Haney has been compared to Pillow Fist. Okay? The American Dream has been compared to having Pillow Fists. These are not my words. These came from somebody else. These came from people who have been in the ring with him. They said his.
Hold on, one second.
No, hold up.
We got a cap artist here. Let me read this real quick for you, and I promise I'm gonna let you go.
No,
you gotta read this. GD said, let me read this. Promise, I'm gonna let you go. I promise. Now we got to get on GD because GD is a capologist. What do you say? Keep it 100. T.O. full of cap. He ain't moving on no 154. He don't even go. He does. He's going to get slaughtered. The fake over continue. GD, one thing about
Fact,
you, bro, You one of the biggest cap artists in YouTube history, dog.
Shout out to GD. I second that emotion, GD. Ain't nobody worrying about what Bernardo talking about. He been Bernardo since I've been up here. That's why I ain't feeding into it. He know it ain't cap. He just hate when Big Bro tell the truth, but he gotta be stubborn in his own ways. But I hope he pray to his savior that he comes out of it one night.
Hey, go ahead, bring us something because I know you're gonna bring us some life about T.O. and Devin.
No, you said compared Devin Haney to Roberto Duran. You do realize before Roberto Duran even got up there to fight Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hitman Hearns, Marvin Hagler, before he fought any of those guys, he had over 70 fights before he decided he even test himself with those guys. He had over 70 fights. You want to compare Devin Haney, somebody who has 31 fights, 32 fights?
Mm-hmm.
That man got double the amount of fights that Devin Haney had before he decided to say, "Hey, you know what? I think I might want to test one of these top level guys. I think I'm a wait." Roberto Duran was known as one of the greatest lightweight fighters of all times.
Mm-hmm.
We're not saying that about Devin. We're not saying that about Devin Haney. He's not known as one of the greatest lightweight fighters of all time. And Devin Haney's no, he is not. And Devin Haney spent his majority of his career at lightweight. He came in the game at 16 years old. He just recently moved to 140. So no, he is not considered one of the greatest lightweights of all time. No, none of those guys are.
The youngest undisputed champion.
Loma's not considered that. Tank is not considered that. Shakur's not. T.O.'s not. None of those guys is considered one of the greatest lightweights of all time. None of them.
And most likely they won't be added onto the list, D3, may I add.
Right. And now when you say T.O. is going to fight Magnumov,
mm-hmm.
the T.O. that's at 140 and the Magnumov that's at 154.
T.O. weighs 160 right now.
If T.O. does, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say he does get in the ring with him. If T.O. does get in the ring with Magnumov, that will be the last fight of T.O. That will be the last fight of T.O. I can guarantee you that. We saw T.O. almost about to quit when he got beat up by Kambosos. That man looked like he was done. He looked like he ain't want to come back to the sport of boxing. Now he go up there and fight somebody who's much bigger, hits much harder. Yeah, T.O. won't fight again. He won't fight again.
T.O. gonna wind up.
Let me ask Tommy this real quick because he been quiet. Now, Tommy, you my favorite Cuban. Let me ask you this. Now, if T.O. stops Magnumov or beats him by UD, what happens then?
I can't even entertain that, man. It's not. Listen, he got to stop someone at 140. He got to show me he could beat the top dude, someone really a live dog at 140. Let him get in there with, say, Gary Antoine. Let him get in there with home team who just beat Gary Antoine. Let him get in there with someone like that and start winning some fights at 140. And then you was talking about Duran and Haney, Duran and T.O. We don't even got to go to Duran. If you think in recent history, man, people who came through lightweight, 140, Sugar Shane Mosley, Oscar De La Hoya, Miguel Cotto, Floyd Mayweather, like you can't even put his name amongst them, much less Duran. Come on, man.
Miguel Cotto wasn't no champion like Devin was. Cut the cap.
Oh, come on. Against what, man? Against what?
We mentioned T.O.'s name, and Devin went out. BVO went out and got his 4 buckets of water, and he gonna carry that water for T.O. He carries a lot of water.
Dre. No, you know the brother, and I love you, man.
Yeah, right. You my brother, and I love you. You carry a lot of water for T.O. on those days.
Stop.
Can't be serious.
But hold on, I gotta say this.
Just want to wake up one day.
What do you say?
And BVO will be saying this nonsense.
What do you say? BVO won't cry. Does T.O. still have it? Hold on. GD, let me play a clip for Big Dre, my favorite Cuban Tommy, my favorite Puerto Rican Free, and the Grumpy OJ. I play a clip from a guy. I don't know if you guys have heard of this guy. It's a guy named Roy Jones Jr. Monster, man. Monster fighter. at 160, 168, fought James Toney. Everybody was scared of James Toney. He went there, beat him to death. So, I mean.
Listen, I love Roy Jones. He was.
Yeah, he's two-time undisputed. Yeah. You got to call him that. Why? Respect. Because he won all the titles.
He already said that he won the title at 140. Like, that's the argument that Eddie Hearn said. He's like, he's not undisputed. Listen, he won the title this and then on 140. At 135, he had all of them except, if I'm not mistaken, the franchise belt, if I'm not mistaken, right?
So he didn't have them all at 140?
I think he just won.
Josh had everything at 140.
So he said won all of them at 140, and he had all of them at 135. So how's he not two-time undisputed champion? And not on top of that, he beat the man that was the man at the time in both weight divisions. So forget about the so-called belt. He beat the best fighter in the division both times. Call it like it is. Call a spade. Give the man his credit. You don't box, you can't talk about it because you don't fight. You don't understand. When you beat the man, you are the man. I don't give a damn what belt you got. You beat the man, you are the man.
Hold on. Now, this is the dude from Pensacola, Florida, man. And I don't know if y'all know who's on my avatar. Shout out to Chuck Brown. If the great Chuck Brown was still around, he would probably be a fan of Teofimo Lopez, too. But go ahead. I'll let you guys click on that. Because we just seen Roy Jones validate what I just said.
Roy Jones had been drinking when he said that because I don't remember Tio having all the belts at 140.
Remember, Josh had everything, and then he lost to Tio.
When he fought Josh did not have everything.
Period. Or
how they stripped him?
When he fought Josh Taylor did not have all the belts.
So what you saying is,
Josh Taylor did not have all the belts. So that doesn't make him. How can he be undisputed when he didn't collect all the belts from Josh Taylor?
So basically, what you saying, BVO, on those facts that you're saying, if somebody beats Jamil Charlo right now, they undisputed at 154. That's basically what you saying.
He's lineal champion. He still got the lineal belt.
He ain't undisputed.
I think if you beat Jamel Charlo, I think you're number one at 54, in my opinion.
I ain't saying you're not number one. I said you're not undisputed.
You beat the man that beat the man.
I said you're not undisputed.
I don't know. Y'all didn't hear what Roy said.
I don't care what Roy said. No, you act like what Roy say is the gospel. I don't care what Roy said. If I know what the facts are, I don't care what nobody say. If I know what the facts are.
What'd you say?
Just because Roy said it, that means it's right. Because Roy said it, that means it's right. No, we know Roy is delusional at times. We already know that.
He said the Florida boy knows way more than we do. That's a fact from Pensacola, Florida. He definitely know more than this. Roy.
No, he said you acting like he knows more than we do. He don't. He clearly don't. He's clearly out of sync with the sport of boxing. He's clearly out of sync with the sport of boxing.
You told me Roy was one of your favorites.
He was my favorite when he was boxing. He's clearly out of sync now. Clearly. The man didn't even know that Josh Taylor didn't have all the belts. That means he's clearly out of sync with the sport of boxing. How you not know that he didn't have all the belts? When he got introduced former undisputed champion, super lightweight. He got introduced as former, not current, former.
So Tommy, you agree with this? Tommy, Tommy, you agree with this? Tommy,
yeah,
you agree with this?
100% all day, man. 100% all day. He didn't have the belts no more. You can't take something from a man if you don't got them. You know what
Tommy,
I mean? Like
that's disgusting that you would say that. I thought it was fighting the best dude. You fight the best.
Okay. Let's
he wasn't the best no more. He wasn't even the best no more. That he was kind of a shell of himself, man. He looked like a shell of himself against Catterall. Then he came in against T.O. You know, he looked weight trained. And it ain't to make an excuse.
Hold on 1 second, Tommy. Let me ask BVO a question real quick, Tom. Let me ask BVO a question. BVO, has T.O. lost at 140? Has he lost a fight at 140?
No.
How many belts does T.O. have at 140?
2.
How is he undisputed?
We talking about technically.
Last time I checked, you have to have 5 belts. Last time I checked, you have to have 5. Well, technically 4 of the sanctioning body, and then they throw in that little ring magazine belt, but technically 4 of the sanctioning bodies. You have to have those 4 belts. So if he never lost at 140, and according to you, he only has 2 belts, how is he undisputed?
Well, let me ask you.
He didn't have anything stripped from him.
Didn't Floyd when he beat Manny Pacquiao say that he was undisputed because he had the 3 belts instead of fight Kell Brook for the IBF strap?
Was Floyd ever undisputed? I don't care what Floyd said he didn't need. Was he ever undisputed?
Never.
He wasn't the best at 147?
I didn't say he wasn't the best. I said, was he ever undisputed?
I think y'all going up technicalities.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
Yeah, y'all going up technicalities, bro.
Yes, we are going off of technicalities. We are using your technicalities against you. Because, see, just because he beat the man that used to be the man, see, you got to beat the man that is the man. Not the man that used to be the man that is the man to become the man. So when he beat Josh Taylor did not have all the belts. So when you don't have all the belts, you only get what he got. It was not a fight for undisputed. So you can't become undisputed if you didn't earn undisputed.
Well, you know, we could go on this conversation all day. I know we going somewhere crazy when we got a guy like GD, the Cat Master, saying facts and stuff like that. So we in trouble when we got GD doing that, because we I don't know if y'all know GD's my brother. I see him in the comments every day.
Right. I know.
And he's sending Cat, man. He's sending Cat like crazy. But let me ask you guys this before we go. I want you guys to realize something I didn't know. That we have just hit 1.5 million views, man. And it'll be 2 years, November 3rd. So I just got to say, man, I just thank God for that, man. You know, shout out to Puerto Rican Free. Shout out to my man Prize, Richie Rich, a.k.a. Manager Calvin, even though I know you don't like that. Shout out to the Grumpy OG. Shout out to West Indian Marky. 1.5 million views, man. You know, we didn't know nobody, so we didn't know nobody, man.
I think
it's exciting.
That's a great accomplishment. You know, you guys should be proud of that.
Man.
Yeah, it's great too. It's great too because, man, I remember doing this. This is something I was just doing for fun, and it's blowing up. And we really seeing some great, you know, get some good content. You know, we had some of the best people in boxing coming on here. And I tell you one thing that really gets me. When we get that Teofimo Lopez interview, I want all you guys to have enough nuts to say this bull crap y'all saying now to T.O.'s face. And I'm going to bring Big Dre up. I'm going to bring my favorite Cuban Tommy. And you know I'm going to have Puerto Rican Free. Now, I'm not going to have Crush Legend out because I know Crush is crazy. He might say something crazy. So we ain't going to have Crush up there. You know Crush is crazy.
Listen, seeing how we talking hypotheticals and far out dreams and stuff. What does anybody think if instead of the Lamont Roach fight, Tank had decided, okay, I'm going up to 140 and I'm going to challenge Liam Paro for that IBF strap?
That would be great.
What would you think of that? Would you think that would have been a better fight than the Lamont Roach fight?
No, Lamont Roach is a monster. This is a good fight.
No, I'm saying, but you know, like I said, what do you think if Tank were to take that step up to 140 and go after Liam Paro's belt? So to take that IBF champion.
That would be big, man.
You know, speaking of that, you know what would be a big fight?
Then he could say, okay, I'm up here, Devin T.O. come get me.
Oh, we know he want to say T.O. come get me. Or Devin. I mean, you talking about two monsters right there. You got to understand, Devin Haney and T.O. are like Tommy Hearns and Ray Leonard, man. Or Zab Judah and Floyd Joy Mayweather Jr. It's just kind of hard to talk to them two. Them two are the baddest dudes on the planet. But
I have to go up another step. The water's getting a little deep in here, man.
Let me go.
Kind of murky.
Hey, Free, you this guy, man. You this guy talking about me, your brother. Man, you see how you do me, man? Tell me.
I hear you.
Hey, you my Cuban brother, man. You see how you talk to me, man? That's cold. That brother Drake's cold-blooded, man.
I understand the sentiment.
Start getting deep and start getting deep, you know.
He said BVO drinking that night train. I'm more of a muscatel man myself, to be honest with you. I'm more of a muscatel man. But I'll say this, man. I think we got some great things coming in boxing. Emiliano Vargas, we know he's going to stop Abdullah Mason when they fight. There's so many great things. We got Richard Torres coming up, young heavyweight. We know about my man, what's the kid's name? Jared Anderson's coming back. There's so many good things to celebrate in boxing, but I'm telling you, man, please do not drink the Kool-Aid of Abdul Wahid. He's going to let you down every time, man. He's almost like Mace back in the day. He's going to let you down. If you want to see real fighters, follow Devin America Dream Haney, Teofimo Lopez, David Morrell, David Benavidez, Deontay Wilder, what's left of him. I mean, you got to follow real fighters, man. He said, BVO a black Mexican, brother. I love you. Now, you my brother, Case of One, I love you. I don't know why you say this kind of stuff, that I'm a Mexican. I won't even root for Mexicans. And Free will tell you that. Same thing with my man Cuban Tommy. They'll tell you I don't root for the Mexicans. I root for the brothers every time. But it is what it is, man. It's your boy BVO, and I'm going to let Free have our final words. Go ahead, Free. Give us something, man. Give us a story before you get out of here, man.
Man, I appreciate everybody for coming through. Just remember, this is boxing talk. We ain't up here getting in our feelings. We having good boxing talk. Everybody that it can have their own opinion. Everybody can have their own thoughts. But at some point, these fighters got to get in the ring and fight each other. And on that note, we out.
Peace.
Peace.
We really boxing. Who wanted the battle?